Right now, 12 miles off the coast of Taiwan, Commander Sarah Chen is staring at a tactical nightmare that her 15 years of training never prepared her for. Her Arleigh Burke destroyer just entered water exactly 143 feet deep, not the deep blue water where American technology reigns supreme. This is green water, which is Navy speak for none of the rules you trained for apply anymore. The shallow coastal zone where physics turns against you, where a $2 billion warship becomes blind, and where every advantage the US Navy spent 70 years building just evaporated. Turns out, most billion-dollar technology has a preferred depth. Instead, she is looking at what submariners call the nightmare screen. Dozens of contacts. At some point, a sonar screen just becomes the ocean's version of unread notifications. Fishing boats, cargo vessels, underwater ridges, thermal layers bending sound waves into dead zones. And somewhere in that acoustic chaos, intelligence reports say there is a diesel-electric submarine. Quiet as a hole in the ocean, waiting. Chen knows the brutal math. In deep water, her ship's ANS-QQ-89 sonar suite can detect a submarine at 40 nautical miles. That is not a small performance drop. That is your phone going from full bars to no service. Here, in this cluttered coastal mess, she would be lucky to get 4. The submarine only needs to get within 8 miles to launch torpedoes. The hunter just became the hunted. And the enemy did not need better technology. They just needed shallower water. If you want to understand why the Pentagon is completely re-engineering how the Navy fights, why billions are being spent on technology that seems to go backward, and why the future of naval warfare looks nothing like the past 70 years, you are in the right place. Let's start with what green water actually means. The Navy divides the ocean into 3 zones. Blue water is the deep ocean, anything over 600 feet deep, where aircraft carriers rule and acoustic conditions are predictable. Brown water is rivers and harbors, where patrol boats operate. Green water is everything in between, the coastal shelf zone. It ranges from 10 to 200 meters deep, and it extends 20 to 100 miles from shore. Here is why that depth range is catastrophic for modern naval warfare. Sound is the only thing that works underwater. Light penetrates maybe 600 feet on a perfect day. Radar cannot see beneath the surface, so every Navy on Earth depends on sonar, active sonar that pings the ocean and listens for echoes, and passive sonar that listens for the noise enemy ships make. In blue water, this works beautifully. Sound waves travel in predictable paths. The ocean floor is far enough away that it does not create clutter. Thermal layers are stable and mappable, but green water breaks all those rules. First problem, the thermocline. In deep water, you get a smooth gradient. In coastal zones, fresh water from rivers mixes with salt water. Warm surface water from the sun sits on top of cold, upwelling currents. You get sharp temperature boundaries. When sonar sound waves hit these boundaries, they refract. They bend. Sometimes they reflect back up toward the surface, creating a shadow zone beneath where submarines can hide in complete acoustic invisibility. Commander Chen faces this right now. Below 120 feet, there is a thermal layer. Anything under that boundary becomes a black hole. The enemy submarine could be directly beneath her, and she would never know. Second problem, the bottom bounce. In deep water, the ocean floor is so far down that sound reflections from the seabed are weak and easy to filter out. Sound waves bounce off sand, rocks, coral, and wrecks. Each reflection creates a false contact. Chen's sonar screen shows 87 contacts. Acoustic clutter. She has 4 minutes to figure out which dot is the submarine before it gets within torpedo range. Third problem, biological noise. Coastal zones are loud. Snapping shrimp click their claws at 200 decibels, the same volume as a gunshot. Fish schools create acoustic clouds. Whale calls mask submarine engine noise. In green water, they dominate the soundscape. And here's the paradox. The more advanced your sonar, the worse it gets. Modern systems like ANS-QQ-89 are designed to hear everything. In blue water, that's an advantage. In green water, Hearing everything means hearing every shrimp, every fish, every rock, every temperature gradient, and drowning in information you can't filter fast enough. It's like having perfect hearing in a room where everyone is talking at once. The enemy knows this. That is why China operates 79 diesel-electric submarines designed specifically for green water combat. Russia's Kilo-class submarines are optimized for coastal ambush. Iran's Navy practices swarm tactics in the shallow Persian Gulf, where American destroyers lose every advantage. Let's talk about Millennium Challenge 2002. It was the most expensive wargame in US military history. American forces invaded a fictional Middle Eastern country. Red Force, commanded by retired Marine General Paul Van Riper, defended using green water tactics. Van Riper did something brilliant. He ignored the multi-billion-dollar US fleet, and he focused on the environment. He used small boats, fast attack craft, and civilian vessels converted to carry missiles. He exploited the shallow water of the Persian Gulf, where American sonar could not track him. He communicated using motorcycle couriers and World War II-era light signals to avoid electronic detection. On day 2 of the exercise, Van Riper launched a coordinated swarm attack. Small boats and aircraft converged from multiple directions. In the simulation, he sank 16 American ships, including an aircraft carrier. He killed thousands of virtual sailors. Green water is the great equalizer. You do not need a better navy. You just need home field advantage. Commander Chen watches her countdown timer. 3 minutes until that submarine, if it is real, gets within firing range. She can go active, ping the ocean with high-power sonar, but that reveals her exact position to every enemy system within 50 miles. This is the decision green water forces American commanders to make. Use your sensors and give away your location, or stay quiet and stay blind. There is no good option, which is exactly why the Navy is rebuilding from the ground up. Back in Washington, Vice Admiral James Kilby saw the Millennium Challenge results and asked a different question. He did not ask how we make our ships better at green water warfare. He asked why we are sending ships at all. Unmanned surface vessels, unmanned underwater vehicles, small, cheap, expendable, and designed specifically to operate where manned ships cannot. The Navy calls this distributed maritime operations. Instead of sending a destroyer into the green water meat grinder, send 50 robotic vessels. Let them be the eyes. Let them be the targets. Let them absorb the risk while manned ships coordinate from safer standoff positions. The Sea Hunter is the prototype, 130 feet long, with a displacement hull and diesel-electric hybrid propulsion. No crew. It costs $20 million. A destroyer costs $2 billion. You could lose 99 Sea Hunters and still come out ahead. But the real innovation is not the platform. It is the sensor fusion. Each unmanned vessel carries a towed sonar array, dragging passive hydrophones through the water at variable depths. Multiple vessels create a distributed sonar network. Instead of one ship trying to hear through the clutter, you have 20 vessels listening from different positions simultaneously. Artificial intelligence processes the data. It learns the acoustic signature of that specific patch of ocean. It knows what the snapping shrimp sound like. It knows the thermal layer patterns. It builds a baseline. When something does not fit the pattern, when a new acoustic signature appears that does not belong, it flags it. This is how you hunt submarines in green water. You do not out-tech them, you out-network them. The Navy is deploying the Hammerhead mine hunting system. These are autonomous underwater drones that swim search patterns looking for mines on the seabed. Clearing mines the old way is slow. One ship clears maybe 1 square mile per day. Hammerhead drones work in swarms. 30 drones can clear 30 square miles in the same time. Why does this matter? Because mine warfare is the ultimate green water weapon. A $10,000 mine can sink a $1 billion ship. During the Gulf War, the USS Princeton and the USS Tripoli both struck mines. The Princeton nearly sank. The mines were laid by Iraq using commercial boats and scuba divers. low-tech and hard to prevent, devastating when successful. Clearing mines the old way takes weeks. Hammerhead swarms can do the same work in days. Commander Chen makes her call. She authorizes the deployment of 2 Sea Hunter-class unmanned surface vessels that have been trailing her formation at a distance. They race ahead, their towed arrays spreading out in a wide sensor net. Within 90 seconds, the artificial intelligence processor triangulates an anomaly. Acoustic signature consistent with a diesel submarine running on battery power. Range 6.2 miles. Bearing 185 degrees. Chen does not fire. She does not need to. The submarine commander just realized he has been tagged. His stealth advantage is gone. He turns away and retreats to deeper water. The threat dissolves without a shot fired. This is the new model. Sensors forward, shooters back, networks everywhere. But there is a bigger question. Why does green water matter so much in 2026? Because 90% of the world's population lives within 100 miles of a coastline. Every major conflict zone is in green water. The Taiwan Strait averages 160 feet deep. The Persian Gulf, where 20% of global oil flows, averages about 115 feet. The South China Sea, where China claims territorial waters, is a green water chessboard. If the United States Navy cannot fight in green water, it cannot defend the most strategically critical waters on Earth. It is about physics meeting geography. For 70 years, America built a navy designed to control the open ocean. Carriers, destroyers. Submarines optimized for deep water hunting, and that fleet is unbeatable in its domain. But wars do not happen in the middle of the Pacific. They happen in straits, channels, coastal zones, and archipelagos. They happen in green water, and the Navy that dominates blue water can lose badly in the shallows if it does not adapt. The adaptation is already underway. Unmanned systems, distributed sensors, AI-powered threat detection, mine hunting swarms. These are not future concepts. They are operational today. And they are changing the calculus for every adversary that thought coastal waters were their home field advantage. So how does the US Navy win in green water? By refusing to fight the enemy's fight. By sending robots where we used to send destroyers. By building networks instead of bigger ships. By using artificial intelligence to hear through the noise. The enemy wanted us to bring billion-dollar ships into their coastal kill zones. We are bringing $20 million unmanned vessels that learn the terrain better than any human crew could. Commander Chen watches the Sea Hunters return to formation. The threat is neutralized. Her destroyer never fired a weapon. Her crew never faced risk. The mission continues. This is what winning looks like in the green water paradox. Not louder sonar, not bigger ships, smarter tactics, better networks. And the willingness to re-engineer 70 years of assumptions because the ocean does not care about your budget or your legacy systems. If this breakdown of naval innovation changed how you think about modern warfare, hit that subscribe button. We decode the engineering and strategy behind American military adaptation. They forgot that American engineers do not accept constraints. We eliminate those constraints.